The garden is beginning to smell absolutely beautiful now, and I always think that fragrance is one of the best parts of early summer. So today I'm going to share a few of the plants that are filling the garden with scent at the moment. Hi everyone, my name's Annette. Welcome back to Cottoverdi. At this time of year, I find myself slowing down a little bit in the garden because there are certain plants that make you stop in your tracks as you walk past them. The fragrance is incredible, from sweet and honeyed to herbal and floral, and some of them smell particularly good on a warm evening. So in today's video, I thought I'd take you on a walk around the garden and show you some of those plants that I think deserve to be grown not just for their flowers, but also for their wonderful fragrance. So I always think scent adds something incredibly emotional and atmospheric to a garden, and these plants are plants that I just wouldn't be without. So let's take a walk around the garden. One of the plants that surprises people the most at this time of year is this one behind me. This is Elaeagnus Quicksilver, and it literally perfumes the entire garden. I can smell it from miles away. It's so wonderful. I can't tell you, it's got tiny, inconspicuous little pale yellow flowers, but it's smothered in them, and the scent that comes from this plant is incredible. I love it. It kind of smells like a really good aftershave to me. I don't know, it's just wonderful. It's got like spicy, honey, floral notes. It's more spicy though. I feel like it's so hard to describe, but I also saw this plant in a couple of gardens at the Chelsea Flower Show this year, and that really pleased me to see that other garden designers really appreciate this plant too. I bought this plant for the silver foliage. I just thought it was just such a beautiful colour, and then when I planted it in the garden at this time of year, I was like, what is that smell? What is it? And I realised that it was this plant here. I also really love this silvery foliage. As I said, it's the reason that I bought this plant. I just think it catches the light beautifully and it gives the border a really soft feel. The branches sway so gracefully in the wind. It's got a very sort of loose feel to it. It kind of feels feathery and just light and airy. Now, Elaeagnus Quicksilver does spread a lot. It spreads with runners, so the roots will just send up shoots. So there are loads of little runners at the base of this shrub, but they're super easy to pull out. They're really not difficult. They're very close to the surface and you could just yank them out, cut the roots with your snips. The shrub doesn't mind at all. It's really tough. And you can take those offshoots and plant them somewhere else in the garden, which is what I'm going to do because I want this plant in every single border. I honestly can't tell you. It smells for such a long time. The scent hangs around for such a long time. It's, first of all, you can smell it throughout the day. So this fragrance perfumes the garden even during the day. But also it lasts an incredibly long time, like at least a month. So it's just really long-lasting, beautiful fragrance. I really hope that if you go and buy this plant, and I encourage you to, that you love the fragrance as much as I do. This is the best smelling plant I've ever smelt. So I'm standing here next to Gertrude Jekyll, and this is probably one of the most famous fragranced roses, and for good reason. It is incredible. Even my husband comments on how wonderful this particular rose smells. The fragrance is extraordinary. It's rich and deep and unmistakably rose, and just the most luxurious scent imaginable. My advice is to plant this rose near a pathway because it's one of those roses you just can't help stopping beside. So we walk through this area here regularly, on a regular basis. It's kind of a pathway. I'm going to be building a border around this rose anyway. It is one of those roses that can grow quite large. I mean, it's quite large already, but it'll get big and bushy as well. But I do think It's worth making space for this in your garden if you can, because the scent is so incredible. This is Lavender Hidcote, and it's probably one of those scents that most people associate with summer gardens and going on holiday to Europe. Hidcote really is exceptional for fragrance. Even just brushing past the foliage releases that classic calming lavender scent. It's sweet and floral, but also slightly herbal and almost, I don't know, piney underneath. I love planting lavender near paths because when you brush past it, it releases its fragrance so easily and just wafts up to you. It's one of those plants that instantly creates a feeling of warmth and summer and sunshine. So even as I stand here in the morning sunshine, the scent from this lavender is wafting right up to me. We've got it planted right outside our bedroom. It's in our gravel garden, and I just think lavender is one of the most precious fragrances. And also, did you know that the scent of lavender can help you get a good night's rest? I always think that Dianthus have one of the most nostalgic scents. It's that spicy clove fragrance that just grabs your attention on warm summer's evenings, and they smell wonderful in bouquets too. In this border behind me here, I have got a Dianthus called Indian carpet mix. So it doesn't grow incredibly tall. It's returned for me year after year now, despite being technically more like a biennial. I really love these compact cushions of colour it creates near the front of borders, and it's also great in containers. I'm also growing Dianthus Purple Wedding. It's not strictly speaking purple, I describe it more as cerise. It's got vivid, rich flowers with softer, pale edges, and the scent is absolutely gorgeous, spicy and sweet at the same time. I have filled this whole container with, I put 4 plants in here, so it's jam-packed full, and I just think it's going to look gorgeous on my patio. It flowers for such a long period of time, and the pollinators seem to love it too. Back here in the border, quite close to the Elaeagnus that I was talking about earlier, at the base, in a space in between the Elaeagnus and the roses, I have got a bee balm or Monarda, and this is a plant that we grow for the foliage, the aroma of the foliage, a little bit like lavender, but with the bee balm it really is that scent of the foliage that grabs your attention. And if you're weeding around this or picking flowers or just in fact walking past, you can smell the fragrance from these leaves. So this doesn't even need to be flowering in order for it to smell absolutely wonderful. Somewhere between mint and oregano and bergamot orange, which is what they make Earl Grey tea from. So it kind of smells a little bit like Earl Grey tea too. This is just such a good plant for the pollinators because they really love the shaggy flower shape later in the season, and it just brings movement and energy to the borders. The strongest scented annual that I grow is Nemesia Wisley Vanilla. It has got the most incredible fragrance. It's soft and creamy and buttery and just like vanilla ice cream. They've got tiny little delicate flowers which are very pretty, but the scent is incredible. It will waft around your garden and you'll think, ooh, what is that wonderful smell? And it'll be the Nemesia Wisley Vanilla, and it literally, the tiniest breeze would just carry the scent. I always put these in containers on the patio, and I also have some in a large pot that we installed last year. I need to plant it up a little bit, so it's not full at the moment. I've got some Salvia amistad that's going to go in there because we lost the Salvia amistad that was in there last year. It just didn't survive the cold, but the Nemesia has survived, or some of it anyway. So the Nemesia's come back, which is fantastic. I'm not sure how, because normally I lose the Wisley Vanilla every single year and I just buy more. I buy them as little plug plants, so it's really cost effective, and then I just grow them on. You can see in the container that they're really quite small. I've only just planted them up this week, but they will bush out in no time at all, and they will look fabulous all summer long, especially if we keep deadheading them. I'm also growing Nemesia denim, which I have grown in the past, but I loved it so much that I'm growing it again. It's got these gorgeous, lovely, soft, violety blue flowers and a slightly more sugary fragrance, but it's not nearly as strong as the Wisley vanilla. But the denim flowers and flowers and flowers, and it just keeps going and it bushes out really nicely. If you've been here on this channel for a little while, then you'll know just how much I love this rose behind me here. This is a rose called Harlow Carr, and I cannot tell you how incredible the fragrance is from these roses. When it's in full bloom, the scent just wafts right through to our kitchen. It is, I keep talking about scent wafting, but I can't describe to you what it's like when you just get accosted by this gorgeous fragrance. If I was to describe the fragrance, I'd say it's rich and very classic, a proper old rosy fragrance, but it does have a sort of freshness to it that makes it feel quite clean and uplifting. It's very different to the Gertrude Jekyll that I was talking about earlier. The flowers on Harlow Carr are beautiful and soft and a very gentle, warm pink, and it really does repeat wonderfully through the season. But I also find that this is one of the healthiest and most reliable roses that I grow. It very rarely suffers from black spot, which makes it even more valuable in the garden. And I really hope you've had fun with me as we walked around the garden talking about scented plants. Maybe it's inspired you to get one or two yourself. If you don't have these already, then I highly recommend them. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.